How's it going, everyone? Uh, Welcome to another episode of Jesse Talks Metal. I'm Jesse Slamarella, and I'm here today to talk to you about the use of the word posers and faggot in the metal community. Um, it's kind of an epidemic. It's definitely brought me here today to have to talk about it a little bit, just because it's driving me nuts, and I don't understand where the mentality for these words are coming from. So basically, what I'm just going to do right now is break down what they mean. Poser is someone who is presenting themselves as something they are not. They are pretending to be something they are not, in fact, or they are representing themselves in a way that is false. Now, I see a lot of people in Facebook threads, on the YouTube comments section, sometimes on Twitter if I'm on there, just kind of calling people posers if they don't listen to the same music they do, calling them posers if they listen to less heavier bands, calling them posers if they've recently taken up wearing certain types of metal fashions, like maybe spiked bracelets or bullet belts or crosses, upside down crosses, pentagrams, maybe some sort of cliche metal shirt or hat or merch of some sort that just seems to be overly mainstream, and they get labeled posers for some reason. And unless you have proof this person is actually trying to be something they are not really on the inside, then you really shouldn't be using the word poser. It's kind of very presumptuous on your part, and it doesn't make you look intelligent when you use it, especially if it's being used out of context or just incorrectly. Just the incorrect use of the word just makes you look like a dumbass. So basically, something to think about before you call someone a poser. Just don't, basically, because you don't know if they're pretending to be something they're not. You don't know if they're just new to the scene and trying to get into different types of metal. And just because the type of metal or hard music genre they're listening to isn't as heavy as what you're listening to or as obscure as what you're listening to, doesn't make them a poser. That makes them perhaps maybe an entry level metalhead, but that's not a bad thing. You know, you got to start somewhere. So just stop it with the poser thing already. That's stupid, it's immature, and it doesn't make us as a community of metalheads look any better to anyone, and it doesn't make anyone want to join. And that's all I have to say about that one. The next big thing, I figured I'd add it in this as well because I've seen this go around everywhere and get said just off the cuff, and just everyone likes to say it and throw it out there. Besides the obvious trolls that use this or call people this, I would like to see us as metalheads and as a metalhead community just stop calling people faggots or fags. I mean, besides the English or UK or British viewers, fag meaning smoke, well, in North America, it's faggot or fag is a derogatory term for someone who is homosexual. The archaic use of the word is in reference to a bundle of sticks, but even so, homosexuals in the old days were burned at the stake over a bundle of sticks. So calling someone a faggot could potentially be taken as you wish they were being burned at the stake for their sexuality. And that is very lowbrow. That is very offensive, unnecessary, and just very scummy behavior on your part if you use it towards others. And this also needs to stop. This whole calling someone a faggot because they listen to weaker music than you or different music than what you listen to, like if you're into, I don't know, fucking Cannibal Corpse or like Suffocation, or on the deathcore side, maybe you listen to Suicide Silence and Born of Osiris and Oceano. Just because someone listens to Black Veil Brides doesn't make them a faggot. It just means that they like, metalcore or post-metalcore or stuff like that. You can listen to, non-super hardcore, and I use the term hardcore as in like extreme. I don't mean like the hardcore genre. But I guess I should say that then. You can like things that aren't super duper extreme and not be a homosexual or a faggot. That's just retarded. Since when did someone's sexuality have anything to do with what they're listening to? How does, I could listen to Elton John and Queen and Judas Priest, all of which have homosexual artists in them, and still not be gay myself, thus warranting being called a faggot, which it still doesn't warrant that, but I could still listen to bands that have homosexual band members in it and still not be gay myself. Holy shit. Big surprise there, right? Wrong. So enough with calling people posers. Enough with calling people faggots. You're not making yourself look smart. And what kind of message is this terminology sending to other people? I mean, sure, don't give a shit what other people say, but at the same time, you need to really open your mind and open your eyes to using this kind of language and terminology is doing. It's telling people that, us as metalheads are intolerant or hateful. It's saying that we're elitists and kind of like very disrespectful towards others. And it makes it seem like we're potentially violent and aggressive people ourselves. It's maybe cool to be a little aggressive and, get your frustrations and shit out in the pit while you're at a show. But as, a young adult or an actual adult metalhead, you should hold yourself with a little bit more regards and esteem and a little more respect than that. The end result of using this terminology on a daily basis and like treating people this way is it drives new metalheads away. It continues the segregation, and it doesn't help progress us as a community whatsoever. It continues the genre wars. It creates animosity between, fellow metalheads. It's instead of bringing us together and bonding us as a brotherhood or as a community or as, just peers with potential to be friends. It just drives a wedge further into there and separates everything. It's just... Think before you speak. I mean, I get trolls. I get playing the devil's advocate for jokes and the lols. But there's a point where you gotta think to yourself, is this really worth it? Is this really who I want to be as a person? Is it really worth making this new dude that's listening to metal feel like a pile of shit and drive him away from a group on Facebook maybe that may show him better bands, heavier bands? Like, if everyone keeps treating new people or other people like a pile of shit, no one's going to learn anything, and we're not going to progress as metalheads. We're going to be the stereotypical, just ignorant rebels of society that no one's going to really care for too much, and they're going to continue treating us as such. They're not going to look at us with any sort of positive demeanor or respect or feel that we deserve any sort of proper place in society. And people that look like metalheads with tattoos and piercings and wear metal clothes and bullet belts and all this other stuff, they're going to be continually discriminated against because we act that way and we talk that way, like a bunch of disrespectful assholes. Like, there's no point. There's literally no point to talking to other people that way, and it really needs to stop. I mean, I can sit here and tell you to knock that shit off until I'm blue in the face, but unless you take a minute and think about what you're saying to people and the effects of it, it's not going to change. Look into yourself and go, why am I calling people faggots? Why am I calling people posers? Is it because of my own insecurities? Is it because I feel maybe that I've been wronged or mistreated or called this in the past? There's no need to further this mentality. It's not going to help anyone. It's not going to progress anything. If anything, it's going to lead to regression, segregation, and animosity. So fucking shut up before you say these things to other people that are just trying to enjoy music, trying to find a way to escape their everyday struggles and stresses by listening to music and tunes they like. Who gives a shit if it's not the same thing you like? Is it affecting you at all? Is these people listening to their preferences and musical tastes affecting you negatively? No. And, you know, if you see something on YouTube or on Facebook that isn't your musical preference, keep scrolling. Go find something you do like. Don't waste your time trash talking people for their tastes. Don't waste your time making pit stops on these comment sections and furthering the garbage that's being spewed out and just continually adding to the negativity, because that's, you know, we don't need more of that in life. We have enough of that in, you know, real life, and with real life situations. We don't need idiots and big mouths and tough guy Billy badasses on the internet spewing hateful garbage onto stuff that we're just trying to share that makes our lives better. So yeah, don't call people posers, because 99% of the time you don't know if they're actually pretending to be something they're not. And stop calling people faggots. It's offensive. It makes you look stupid when you use it, especially in this day and age when it's so highly accepted. I mean, gay marriage just got approved in the States, and it's been approved in Canada for like even longer. So why you need to use homophobic slurs and such like that in this day and age, 2016, people, come on, give your head a shake. So yeah, just knock it off. Just because the music's lighter than what you listen to, or might not be the same as what you listen to, doesn't give you any reason to call people posers or faggots. And even if the person you're calling that is actually homosexual or gay or bi or pan, so what? How is this negatively affecting you? Unless they're like getting up in their girl and posting dick pics in your PM and like hitting on you and forcing themselves upon you, it's not negatively affecting you in any way, and therefore you shouldn't negatively react. Move on. Go on with the rest of your day. Get a hobby. Find something you do enjoy and stick with it, because negativity begets negativity, and it's not going to help anyone. It's not going to further things in a positive way. So yeah, just think about it. Just fucking think about it before you start spewing out hate for no reason. Anyways, this has been another episode of Jesse Talks Metal. This has been a huge kind of issue that I've seen in the metal community recently and has needed to be brought up again. I'm sorry if this kind of seemed more of like a rant or something that you may have heard already. Maybe you agree with me, and this is just something that is, you know, rehashing some of your own feelings. But I definitely feel it needed to be said. I'm sure a lot of you probably also feel it needed to be said and probably agree with me. And if so, let me know in the comments section. I would love to discuss this further and what you've witnessed in the metal community, and hopefully we'll see some change in the future when a lot of these people see this and see other related videos, and let's make a change. as metalheads and enjoy the music, because that's what really matters. Anyways, I'm Jesse Slammerella. Thanks for watching and stay sick.